Now, Michael, tell us about your acquired diabetes about 12 years ago.
Oh, look, I was in my mid-30s, fit, active young man, you know, out running my business, running my family, powering along with life. I'd always been active, I'd always been quite lean. You know, I could still fit into my wedding suit sort of thing, you know, 15 years later. And then I just felt really, really lethargic and really sort of not well, and had this unquenchable thirst. To the point I was working in my restaurant, and I drank probably 20 litres of lemon cordial. And I know it was 20 litres because we have these 5-litre buckets that kept getting full up with lemon squash. And I drank 20 litres in one night and just couldn't stop urinating, couldn't stop craving drink and sugar.
So these are the symptoms that actually
This was obviously quite extreme by this point. There must have been some indicators before that, but when you're pre-diagnosed, you don't quite realise. You can just, I'm feeling a bit stressed, I'm feeling a bit sweaty, I'm feeling a bit lethargic, couldn't have slept properly or whatever. But once you've been diagnosed as a diabetic, from that moment on, your life changes. You know, as soon as those words come out of the doctor's mouth, it's like, bang, that's what you're dealing with.
So what was that experience like? What had to change? Obviously you were very fit and active, and your food's always been a key part of your life. So what changes did you have to make?
The main thing is you have to monitor what you're doing. You have to be aware. You listen to your body, and it's amazing how you can feel where your blood sugars are. When you're used to testing and eating, you know, I know exactly where my levels are sitting here right now. A blood test would only confirm to me within a few points of where I am. You get used to reading your body, and you monitor in everything you eat and everything you drink. That's the big change.
Michael, what type are you?
I'm pretty much type 1.5, my endocrinologist thinks, because I was diagnosed later in life. I was 35 when I was diagnosed, and but my endocrinologist now says, with your body shape, your diet, your exercise program that's been pretty much with me my whole life, he says you're type 1 all day.
If I was a betting man, I'd put it on type 1.
That's exactly what he says. So look, the treatment for me on a day-to-day basis isn't really any different. You know, I'm constantly measuring what I eat. I have a high energy output. I watch the types of foods, and you know, I try to maintain a steady body weight.
How often do you test your blood sugars?
6 or 8 times a day.
And that's fairly standard for most type 1?
Yeah. So 6 or 8 tests of my blood, 6 or 7 needles a day.
Wow.
When I drink, it all comes out like...
it's crazy, like a colander.
Like a cartoon.
That's crazy. Now, compounding, if you can, I'd like to touch on the fact that about maybe 15 months ago, the condition was actually taken a little bit further, and you had a stroke.
Yeah, look, I had a big shock. Yeah, I've sort of been through the whole lot of it, really. I was cooking in the pub for the kids at the barbecue, and bang, I just collapsed. And they say you have a heart attack or you have a stroke. You get this numbing in your fingers or in your arm. That's a load of rubbish. It's like being shot by an elephant gun. You just bang, you hit the floor, and you lose it. You know. So the most sort of devastating thing for me was, one, like when you're told you're a diabetic, your life changes from that moment. There's no going back from there. And when you've had a stroke, there's no going back from that either. You either become a stroke survivor or you don't. It's up to you, you know. And for me, I certainly took the challenge head on and said that I will live my life normally, and I will accept the challenges that are in front of me. And look, there's a certain element of luck involved. You have a stroke, you know, if that stroke had landed 2 mil in a different spot in my brain, I might never walk or talk again. So I'm very lucky, and I want to sort of use my time now to sort of, one, enjoy my life and live in the present and really accept the privilege that I've got.
Absolutely.
And also try to inspire other people to get out and say, don't fall into this trap. You know, I was never overweight, lazy, a chocolate cake eater. It's totally unfair that what happened to me, but I'm not going to sit and feel sorry for myself. I want to do something about it. And I think that's the main thing, get up and do something about it.
Michael, again, can you just basically, living with the condition, tell us what an average day is like for you?
An average day for me living with diabetes, I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is check my blood sugars. Hopefully they're in the range sort of, you know, 6, 7, 8 or 9, something like that. Anything under 10, I feel like I've started off the day quite well. I'll have a jab of slow-acting insulin. I'll go and have some breakfast. Just before I have breakfast, I'll have a jab of fast-acting insulin. That'll be a higher level of insulin in the morning. You wake up, your adrenaline fires into your system, your blood sugars are naturally a bit higher. I'll eat a healthy breakfast, I'll go to work, around lunchtime. Again, I'll measure my sugar, and I'll eat lunch. And just before I eat lunch, whether I'm in a sushi bar or whatever, I'll have a jab in my stomach or in my leg, wherever it will be, and I'll manage the insulin against the food I'm about to eat. Go through the rest of the day. If I feel particularly bad, I'll do another test just to find out what that is. If my sugars are high at that point, I'll just go for a walk. I probably won't take insulin. I'll probably go do an hour's walk, come back, same thing for dinner. I'll measure my sugars. I'll take a couple of little tablets as well, about 6 or 7, for blood thinners and all of that are dealing with the stroke. But the main thing is then I'll do some exercise. So I try to measure my exercise output, and I train on a wind trainer on my push bike, or I'll go for a walk or go for a run or something like that. So I'm measuring food intake and insulin intake all day.
Yeah, it's
all day.
It is
not like
constant.
that. And then if I get it wrong, I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with blood sugars at
Feeling
2 or
disgusting.
2.5, feeling like I'm going to die, and I get up and I eat jellies or I have a shot of cordial or something like that, which in my mind undoes all the good that I've done. I've been
Sure,
an hour on
with
that
the
bike,
exercise.
and
Yeah.
So look, it's a hard thing, and I don't eat any rubbish. I don't really eat anything that I shouldn't eat. I might sneak a little biscuit. I might, dip my finger in something, a bit of chocolate mousse or something. But I'll never sit and eat a portion of something that's bad for me.